Alright, so this is a quick video on how to make a folder on your desktop and to connect that folder to Adobe Premiere so that you can then edit and have everything linked together as you're supposed to. So making a folder, somewhere in the blank screen here, you want to right click. There is a right mouse button on your mouse for you Apple people. When you right click, you'll get a menu. Go down to New Folder. And then you'll name the folder. For my lower levels, this will be your shots video. For my upper levels, it'll be whatever the project is you're working on. Once the folder is made, go down to the bottom of the screen. Hit the 4 blue squares here at the Start button. Go up to All, and scroll down to Adobe Premiere Pro. When you click on it, it'll begin to open. Now when Premiere opens for the first time, I'm going to make it full screen, you're going to get a window that wants to help you out a little bit. And it also has some different projects you may have worked on, but since a lot of you are new to this, this should be probably empty. So we'll go up and make a new project. But if you are opening a project that you already have made, it'll be right here in the list, or you can find it in the folder. Anyway, new project. Now we do have to name it and find a location for it. The name, if it's lower levels, will just be shots video. Upper levels, name it your project. Click on the location and then go to choose location. When you do that, you're going to have to find your folder. It's on the desktop. Go to the name of the folder. I called mine a shots video. So when you find it and click on it, click it twice to go into it. So the file name, shots video, is going to go in the folder shots video, and hit save. And that means that the project will go in the correct folder now. When I hit create, Premiere will do what it needs to do to set everything up. Premiere likes to start you off with an import panel. I really don't care for this panel much, so I'm going to hit skip. Instead, we're going to import on our own. Remember the way that this is set up in Premiere. Window 1, this is going to be your effects controls. It's also your source monitor viewer for the files that you put in the project. So you have a bunch of different things down here. This is your area where you're going to add media. This is your project panel. This is the timeline area where we'll do our editing and creation. Tool panel, very helpful, especially the mouse and the razor and the text tool. This is the audio levels. Really should never get above -6, really -12. This range here is about right. Properties, we'll use that for different things as we go through the class, and then this window is the video viewer for the timeline itself. To show you how this works, I'm going to import footage. Now I don't actually have footage on my, can't think straight, in the folder I created. So I'm going to grab some other footage just to kind of show you a couple things. I'll grab 2 clips from a volleyball capture I was doing for Stanley Lake High School. When the clips are in, you have them here automatically. Now, I'll go into some more details later about making folders to organize your work in here. I usually have a folder for my music, a folder for all my videos, a folder for my pictures. So, something to consider. When you do put a video in here, to get started, you simply drag the video into the timeline and let go. It'll create a video a timeline, that's this, based on the video that you put in. So it'll be the right size and dimensions of that video. If you're having different video types that you use, or pictures, like dropping a picture in, will not make the right size screen. So you'll have to be careful with that, and if you run into issues, you can raise your hand and bring me over. I'm not going to get into the audio here, but essentially this is your scrubber. It's called the current time indicator, and what the scrubber does is it allows you to move through the video anywhere. I muted the audio currently. The audio comes with the video. 5. Once you put your video in, a couple other quick things you can do to get quick editing started. You can trim from the ends, especially if you don't need some of the stuff. If you want to get something out of the middle, I tend to use the razor and cut the clip, and then I can use the red tool to cut stuff out of the middle, put it back together if I want to. Use the mouse to highlight it and move it back to home. Everything is based on a 0 timeline. Continues out for as long as your video goes. Each one of these markers is set up to, right now, every 2 seconds. Down here at the bottom of the window is a zoom control. The more I zoom in, the further out the time goes, 8 seconds, 16 seconds, 24 seconds. If I zoom in, now I'm looking at half seconds at a time. We had mentioned that most video that we use is 30 frames a second. 15 frames, there's 30 frames, which is 1 second, and so on, and the frames are counted, and so are the seconds. Alright, so that's the basics. You know how to now cut it with a razor or the red tool. You can use the mouse pointer to move things around. The final thing you might want to do is text. When you click on the T for text, you can then go up into the video and then click, and it'll give you a text bar, and then you can type some text. Now when you type the text itself, it's just text. You can resize it. I want you to notice it puts a new item in the timeline, though, that can be positioned. The text is in there. So with your text in there, you can resize it, like I said. If you don't like how the text looks, your properties panel comes to life with the title, for example, with font sizes, centering. I'm going to make this window here a little bit bigger. I can do the fill color. I can add a stroke to the line. If I add a stroke to the line, now it has that black edge to it. We can do a background to the title itself too. There's all sorts of different, like a shadow, or actually that's a box. There is a shadow maker as well. You can do different font choices if you don't like the font you have, and so on. So again, that's the basics to get started. Whoops, Control Z, that didn't work. If you do what I just did by mistake and move a panel and everything's all goofed up, don't fret. Just go to Window, Workspaces, and reset to editing. It didn't work. Windows Workspaces, I'll go to Effects. It tends to put everything back. It brings up my effects panel. I tend to work in the editing mode most of the time, but I will switch modes based on what I'm doing. Oh, it didn't fix it. So I'm going to take and drag this thing back into the audio mixers over here. This is kind of weird how this works. I'm going to put the timeline there. Put that back here. Put this over here. It's kind of hard to grab and move things, but you can grab and move things. Once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to deal with. Alright, so this essentially is the basics of using the Premiere interface, putting some footage in, and being done. I'm going to save this and make a short video about exporting.